Hello, this is Jim Schaefer, executive producer and host of Rip Rap, the academic book television program. Our program today is on the Ann Arbor Book Festival this year, and as you'll see, we have both scenes from the festival and an interview with Joanna Hastings. While we were at the festival, where we had a booth, we saw Peter Yarrow, who is one of the trio, the famous trio of Peter, Paul, and Mary, and he was entertaining quite a crowd under the tent. They had kids and parents and older folks and all enjoying his performance. Then we also met different people from who had booths at the festival, and we'll be showing those interviews. So we're at the Ann Arbor Book Festival with Kathy.
Yes.
How's it going?
Very good, thank you.
This is sort of a little different version of the book festival this year.
Yes, it is. We resized. We don't like to say downsized. We resized a little bit to sort of adapt to the economy and to changes in our funding. But it's got a lot still going. A lot of the same things are still here. So.
Well, and it's a longer time than just this weekend too,
Yeah, we did some things. We did a literacy symposium last week, and we did the writers' conference yesterday, which was very well attended. We had an event last night at the Arthur Miller Theater on playwriting. So then the Antiquarian Book Fair happens tomorrow over at the Michigan Union.
And singing behind us is Peter.
That's right. Peter Yarrow's here today and got quite a crowd around him. So hopefully everyone's enjoying that.
Yeah. So this is what, the fourth year?
This is the sixth year.
The sixth year.
Sixth year. We started in 2004.
Yeah, well, we've been at all of them,
Yeah,
but this is great.
Yep. So hopefully we get a little sunshine here in a little bit, and then people will still keep coming. It looks like people have purposefully chosen to come today, so that's kind of nice.
That's right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have the American Association of University Women. And your name is?
Hi, I'm Trilby Kinsey.
And your name is?
Hi, Nancy Smith.
Nancy Smith. So you want generally used books?
Yes, we do. We have a very large book sale every year, and the proceeds go to Scholarship for Women. And this will be our 57th book sale in Ann Arbor. What we do is collect books, clean them up, and sell them back to you in the fall.
So how many books do you get?
I would say, I cannot tell you how many, but we earn over $20,000, closer to $40,000 on the book sale.
Wow, and then that goes for scholarships?
Scholarships for women primarily, and for others as well.
Great. And so you've been in the book festival before?
I believe this is our first year we've been in the book festival, but we certainly belong here, and we are glad to be part of it.
All right, thank you. All right, now we have the Kerrytown Book Fest. And your name is?
My name is Jamie Lausch.
And you?
I'm the vice president of the Kerrytown Book Fest. This is our 7th year. It's on Sunday, September 13th.
Great. And so your event this year is going to be when?
It's on Sunday, September 13th in the Farmers Market. We have all kinds of promotional stuff. This year we're going to have Jane and Michael Stern, which we're really excited about.
Well, great. Thank you.
Sure.
Our next interview is with?
Natalie Davidson.
And what's this project?
I'm the coordinator of the Reach Out and Read program, which is here at the University of Michigan clinics, the hospital's clinics. We're in 6 different clinics throughout the area, in Ypsilanti Clinic, the Corner Health Clinic, Briarwood, East Ann Arbor, Howell, and Domino Farms. And we give out books to children when they come in for their well child visits, and the doctors give out advice to the parents about reading to their child every day.
Which is the basic thing of literacy, right?
Right.
Read and be read too.
Yes, you have to read to them.
And have them read it back to you.
That's right. That's right.
So how long has your program been going?
Our program has been about, we got 5 or 6 years, but the Reach Out and Read program was started in Boston, and it's 20 years old now. And so we've been giving out free books to children for 20 years. And we just finished giving out our 20 millionth book.
Your 20 millionth?
Yes.
How long is this your first time in the festival?
No, we've been here for the past 4 years. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
My name is Saeed Malik.
And you're with what organization are you with?
Basically, we have organization called ASCRU, American Society Culture Religious Understanding.
And what's the Muslim community of Western Suburbs, Canton?
Okay, yeah, most of the members live in Canton, so we call it Canton community.
And what kind of material do you have here?
Okay, basically the main purpose is to spread the message of Islam, of peace in the community, make them aware what the Islam is all about. So we have Quran here, a lot of brochures, very informative brochures, which tells you what Islam is all about. Islam teaches us to have peace and good manners and good deeds for the community. And that's what all the brochures is here about.
So you have Islam explained, concept of God in Islam, Islam at a glance,
Yes.
unveiling the mystery, hijab, right?
Yes, hijab, the scarf the woman wear.
And women in Islam and worship in Islam. So you got quite a few
Lot of
brochures here.
Very informative brochures here.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And your name is?
I'm Joanne Martella Pearson. I'm the Associate Director for the University Center for the Development of Language and Literacy here at the University of Michigan.
And you've been at the book festival here before.
We have been every year since the book festival started, so yeah.
So what's some of the programs you've got going on?
We provide intensive speech language therapy to children of all ages, so starting with as young as 18 months, children who are not developing language, and then all the way through the school years, children who have learning disabilities, language-based learning disabilities, dyslexia. We have intensive programs in the summer for kids. Our kindergarten first grade starter program is 4 days a week for kids in kindergarten first grade. We have a reading to learn program for children who have difficulty with reading, and then speech and language therapy, and then teen connections for high schoolers and middle schoolers who have difficulty making friends, using language to make friends.
So how many kids are involved with your program?
How many involved?
Yeah.
Over the course of the year, we see about 100 children from the community, less during the school year because they're in the schools. We see about 30 children during the school year, and then the bulk of them come during the summer, our summer programs.
Yeah, very important work.
It's extremely important because we are social human beings, and language undergirds not only social interaction, but also learning. And so we need to have that strong foundation. And people can find us at www.languageexperts.org.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
What's your name?
My name's Joanna Hastings.
And which group you've got here?
This is Summers Knoll School. I'm the director here, the head of school.
And what is Summers Knoll School?
Summers Knoll is a small, progressive, independent school for bright, creative, and gifted children. So we serve exceptional children. We make sure that the education that they receive is one where they have time and space and inspiration to develop who they are and their own learning styles and their own learning needs, and that they can be supported and nurtured and loved and challenged on the level that they need. So it's the education that they receive, it's not traditional. It is a variety of different explorations as well as the core skills that they need in order to be able to explore fully and reach their full potential.
Is it somewhat similar to Montessori? Or?
It shares some aspects, some elements of Montessori education, in that Montessori, like us, Montessori chooses to follow the child, and there's a lot of individual choice involved in Montessori, as there is also with us. But Montessori has a whole set of materials and curricula developed that go with its philosophy, whereas we tend to develop curriculum materials based on the children in our classes, so that we can really help each individual develop to their full potential. They're not being asked to follow necessarily in the same footsteps as other children have in the past. Now, core skills, of course, are developed always systematically and thoroughly and rigorously throughout, but the actual explorations, it's more project-based learning, so that each child can enter the project on their own terms and really develop to their full potential in each particular case.
Is this part of a national program or
No, Summers Knoll is unique.
unique?
Unique to Ann Arbor.
I see.
No, there are other progressive schools around the United States, but in Ann Arbor, it's very much it's very much its own thing, and we're not affiliated with other organizations. We don't share a curriculum with them, but we do share ideas and thoughts. I belong to a group of progressive heads, heads of school right the way across America.
One of the benefits of being in the festival is that we get a chance to also talk with people who have some additional depth that we explore in an interview, and that's why we invited Joanna Hastings, who is the director of Summers Knoll. And we had an excellent talk about writing and teaching, and I wanted to expand on that now.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jim.
One of the things that you were talking about is how your school functions in teaching students.
That's correct. Yes, we were talking about the search for an authentic learning experience and how that can be developed, and what that means specifically in terms of writing in this case. What we are striving to do always is to have the children explore and develop their writing voices so that they can communicate authentically and that they can develop their writing skills, both their voice, their style, and the mechanical skills of punctuation and structure through an authentic writing experience, which is essentially an exploration of what it really means to communicate, rather than learning through worksheets or exercises that are divorced from the writing experience as such.
Well, one of the things I found fascinating is how do you teach your students to do this?
That's a really good question, because it starts young. The children start in kindergarten at Summers Knoll, and we have mixed age group classrooms for all. We go K through 5, and so we mix up the Ks and the kindergartners and the first graders and the second graders and the third graders and the fourth graders and the fifth graders, and also the children work together a lot between the classrooms. So from the get-go, as soon as they come in and they start working on their writing skills, whether they're writing already or whether they're pre-writers, they are starting to learn about what it means to communicate their thoughts, what's coming from inside them, and not so much to be drilled in it or to be told this is what we're expecting from you, this is what we want the end result to look like. So they do a lot of journaling right at the very beginning when they're in kindergarten. And for the pre-writers, that could just mean pictures, or it could mean pretend writing. You know, they sort of...
Pretend writing?
Yeah, they write what they intend to look like writing, and they may know what it says, and nobody else probably would because it may not be proper letters. Or they might write proper letters, alphabet letters, that are in bunches sort of strung together, that they know what they're saying, but they're not actually writing proper words, if that makes sense.
Well, it does. In a sense, in learning, one way you learn is by mimic.
Exactly. And by practice and by enterprise, you know, by exploration and having adventures with what you're doing. So when these little ones write, they are exploring the concept of communicating their thoughts through symbols to somebody else. And the search always for authenticity, to have these children communicate what they want to communicate, what's on their mind, to have it be an open-ended experience for them, so that the child who is crazy about bus routes, for example, can write his detailed explanation of how bus routes in Ann Arbor work. And we have a child like this who he knows everything that there is to know about buses in Ann Arbor.
He's the bus expert.
He's the bus expert, and they're all experts on something. And they all have their things that they are passionate about. they're little, but they know. You know, they have their passions, they have their areas of expertise, and they want to communicate those things. And so that's what they write about. And the writing, as I said, could take very many different forms. But it's still that first step towards discovering, who am I? What do I have to say? And why is it important that I say it? And how is it important? The way that I say it, how is that important? The telling of it. And as they develop their writing skills, they start to do that more and more through conventional ways of writing. Until, if we can just jump up to the 4th and 5th graders, I did a writing workshop with these children earlier on this year, and what we were striving for, again, on a completely different level, but in that exact same way, striving to allow the children to explore their personal voices, to develop their way of communicating in a way that's authentic to them, that means something to them, that's important to them. Because that's where the desire to develop the skills to do that effectively comes from. You can't start with the skills and then add in the importance afterwards. You've got to start with the importance so they want to learn the skills. And so we have a writing workshop, and we start off with some kind of an open-ended prompt. One time, for example, we were working on conversation. Like how do we report conversation? How do we get the way that the conversation flows to come off the page? And so the children, that was their only direction. We had been over how you write conversation in this kind of very preliminary sort of way. But then the conversation that they chose could be an interview, it could be a conversation between characters in a story, it could be creative, it could be factual, it could be pretty much anything. What mattered was that it was something that the children wanted to do, wanted to communicate. And in these writing workshops we have hot chocolate, and we have cookies, and we have flowers or a plant, so that the children are in their own little writing bubble with a sense of beauty and a sense of comfort. And everyone laughs at me when I do this. Everyone says, hot chocolate, how is that going to help them write? And the children asked me at the beginning, it's great. Oh, hot chocolate, we love this. But why is it useful? How is it important? And I said, well, who's ever had writer's block? And everybody's like, me, I know exactly what that is. So I said, well, writer's block is something that really comes from pushing too hard, from trying to say something before you're maybe ready to say it, or before your heart has really felt it properly. And you're pushing it, and because you're pushing it, you become anxious, and when you become anxious, it makes it worse. So that's what the hot chocolate's for. You realize that you don't know what's going to come next, so you stop. Take a bite of a cookie, have a little sip of a hot chocolate, look at the plant for a minute, relax, give yourself something to do that isn't the writing.
Well, this might be a good time to talk about the book, Moon Wolf, and how that emerged.
Moon Wolf, this is a book that the children worked on, the children worked on, along with Ruth Marks, who is a parent and an artist. So the poem, which is the text, I actually wrote. And it was part of a longer poem that I wrote a long time ago. But an idea came up to create a book together. And the children worked on collaborative illustrations for the book. And then, so all through February of this year, they worked on these big paintings and crayon drawings and all different kinds of media, where they just sometimes it was 2 or 3 kids, sometimes it was just one child working on an illustration on their own, but often it was 2 or 3 kids or even more working on a bigger thing that they just sort of pitched in together with. And when they were done, we had a whole stack of paintings and illustrations that we sort of handed over to Ruth's husband, who is he's a printer. So VG Kids in Ypsilanti, he prints T-shirts, he prints all kinds of things. And in this case, we just passed him over the illustrations, and he went through them. He didn't know who had done what. All he was doing was trying to find what would work best for the smaller images that the pages needed. And he sort of zeroed in on these images and put the book together for us. And then it came back and everyone was excited to see, how did it turn out, because nobody knew what to expect at all. It's the first time that we've done this. And the result is this book. Some of the illustrations are actually combinations of things. He would take one thing and layer it on top of another. So really, the spirit of the children as a whole school, I really feel as if it's represented independently of who actually put the paint on the paper in any given instance.
What was the reaction of the students when they saw this?
Oh, they were hugely excited, and proud, And we talked a lot, they and I, about the value of collaboration here. The value, it's not really about is my image in here. It's about what have we made together. And they really entered into that, which is a huge achievement for younger people who still have that very much the world is about me, and they're just starting to learn that it's what
That there's an us.
Means, that there's an us, yes.
Plus, it crosses the line from just a theory to something applied, to something you can hang on to, that you can handle and actually see.
Yeah, and show your grandmother, and
Yes, right.
and take out into the wider community, and have even in bookstores, which is what has happened now, is that there are various places around town that sell this, and the children see, wow, this is a real book, and it's being sold in a real bookstore, and you can go into Nicholas Books and you can see it there on the shelf, and it's this amazing feeling for them.
But there is that dimension to writing of having it out in the community. Now it's no longer just something you're doing at your kitchen table. Now it's out in the community.
Absolutely, and again, that makes it this authentic experience. It's real. It's and it's beyond, as you were saying, it's beyond this controlled environment of you and me and the people we know, the people who love us already, who are reading it maybe because they love us. It takes it into the realm of people are reading it because they want to read it. They're buying it because it's a beautiful work of art and an amazing book, not because they know me or the child, which is...
Or go to the school.
Right, or go to the school.
Have the students talked about the reaction of other people as the book has been?
The students, not so much. They haven't talked about it to me, at any rate. They have been excited to take them home and to show their relations, but it's they're still little enough, they're still young enough that experience of taking it home, of seeing it, is sort of immediate enough. They were excited that it was going out to bookstores. They were excited that we had a reading at Crazy Wisdom that was open to the public. They get excited about things, but I haven't had them come back and say, wow, a total stranger read my book and this was the reaction. I may be misinterpreting your question.
No, but that may be outside their purview. But
Right.
Still, for them, probably taking it home and saying this is what we did has its own value.
Yeah, and knowing that it's going further has a value too. it may at this stage be a sort of pale echo of the feeling that they have showing it to their aunt or their big brother. Or
Have parents talked about it?
oh yeah, yeah. Um, the parents, I don't think anyone knew when we first made it what was going to happen with it. When it first came back from the printer, it was very much this is our school community project, and the parents were pleased with it and excited to see how it turned out, and kind of amazed at how beautiful it turned out. But then as it has got more and more attention from other people beyond the school community, their eyes get kind of wider and wider, and they begin to see and talk about the possibilities that this offers us. We're going to do another one next year. This is something that really can help us show these children what it means to move onwards and outwards, and also show the community, the wider community, what it is that we do in this little school and why that's important too. So it has become a two-way communication, as again, really authentic writing does, that it brings interest back as well as sends the interest out. And that's something, that aspect of it was something that we hadn't anticipated, that it would actually generate interest and be a method of communication for us to show what it is we do, what the school's about, and why that matters.
You've entered the life of the book.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice. I'm glad we were able to have you on Rip Rap. Moon Wolf is the book.
Moonwolf by me, and illustrated by the children of Summers Knoll School. Thank you so much for letting me be here, Jim.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. And that's our program on the Ann Arbor Book Festival.